Thor Love and Thunder was supposed to be a massive blockbuster for the MCU, with so many different Marvel characters coming together with a huge budget of $250 million. Marvel thought this was going to be a surefire billion-dollar box office hit. So many people in the media were predicting it would easily exceed the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness number of $950 million. But as I stated on this channel, after that opening weekend, the way the MCU's been trending, the numbers we've seen, it was setting up to be a massive disappointment, and that's exactly what it has been. Topping out at $750 million worldwide, it didn't even come close to touching Ragnarok, and when you look at the history of the MCU and maybe adjust for inflation, it just makes it that much worse. And now, it looks like there's a chance Taika Waititi, the director of Thor Love and Thunder, might not be returning to the Thor franchise. Taika Waititi reportedly not returning for Thor 5 after Thor Love and Thunder's abysmal critical reception that nearly destroyed the God of Thunder. And I'll say, like, critical reception, whatever. If the critics didn't like it and this movie still made $1 billion, I don't think Marvel would care very much. But yeah, the critics hated it and the audiences just did not care about it. That's the facts. That you can say whatever you want about the biggest Thor box office opening weekend. It completely and totally flatlined because people just are not as interested in the woke MCU anymore. And when you promote something that's the gayest Marvel movie ever, look at how much identity politics are in this. Look, it's just so gay. Some of that's just not super appealing to a lot of the core members of the MCU audience. After the critical reception of the Taika Waititi-directed MCU endeavor, Thor Love and Thunder, recent reports allude to him not returning for the next installment of Thor. According to the report, Taika Waititi, who already seems to have a lot going on, will not return for the next Thor movie. The reason is mostly to do with the split of audience reception, leaning mostly towards scrutinizing criticism. Thor Love and Thunder received a critic rating of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, which thoroughly resonates with the viewpoint of most who consume the film. Hence, it comes as no surprise to see Waititi step down as director of Thor 5. Now, I think we should point out that right now, I don't believe there's any contracts down there. I know that Chris Hemsworth even made a statement about being surprised when it said like Thor will return, because I don't think he's under contract for any other standalone movies or anything like that. Now, if he wants to do it, I'm sure they'll get it done. But they should really take a critical look at what's gone on. I hated Thor Ragnarok. You know, not because I don't think there's a space for that type of movie and that type of humor. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy are in the MCU. But when you do something like that to a character like Thor, who had been pre-established as completely different tonally, like everything, and you decide to make him into that, it didn't sit well with me. I did not enjoy it. I didn't like it. Didn't felt like it fit to me. And then to double, triple, quadruple down on something like that from Taika Waititi in Thor Love and Thunder and really let him do whatever he wanted, well, we saw the results. Like I said, $745 million worldwide for an opener that was, domestically, $144 million domestically. It should attract way higher, right? It should attract way higher than it has, and it is flatline, just like I said it would, because there's just not these holds for these bad MCU movies right now. People are not interested. And when you factor in, like, $745 million, it's flatline, it's not really making any more money than this, even though nothing's out there. There's no competition. Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick 2 is destroying it. Has destroyed it after it came out because people want to go see that instead of Thor Love and Thunder. But look at Thor Ragnarok 5 years ago, $850 million. But the real kicker, the really important part of this, is this only had a budget of $180 million. That's something that we have to talk about. When it comes to Thor Love and Thunder, with a budget of $250 million, the break-even point for this movie was likely somewhere around the $625 to $650 million range. When you factor in all the money you have to spend on advertising on top of the budget, when you factor in the box office cut. So this movie has probably made about $100 million for Marvel, which, yeah, it didn't lose money, but it's a huge disappointment. This is something, when you invest that amount of money, you are expecting it, especially in this pre-established franchise with all these other things that have done it. You expect it to be around the $1 billion mark. That's what Marvel expected. That's what all the media, box office pundits, all of them expected as well. A $250 million short of that, they have to consider this a complete and total failure, especially when you start looking back and realizing Thor: The Dark World came out in 2013. That's only at $100 million less than Thor Love and Thunder, and I don't know if anybody really wants to look at this at Marvel, but when you do factor in inflation, if you factor in inflation from 2013 to now, Oof. This made $820 million. So with inflation factored in, Thor Love and Thunder doesn't even beat Thor the Dark World. That might be a reason they're looking to move on from Taika Waititi. That might be a reason this does not make sense anymore. I think that'd be a good move, but at the same time, I don't know if it's something they want to do. Taika Waititi does go off in interviews, talk a lot about shitty CGI, kind of insult the Marvel employees and things. Maybe that's a reason they don't like it. Maybe there was too much of that shit. I don't know. I do know that this was a disaster for Marvel, like I said it would be, even though so many people didn't want to listen to me. But here we are, several weeks and months later. Thor Love and Thunder is a disappointment for Marvel. You cannot argue that at this point. Let me know what you think about this new report. Do you think it's legit? Do you think anyone's coming back for Thor 5? Do you think Taika Waititi will be involved? Let me know in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.